Reading a book that's changing the game for me. I don't know if this is just like a singular experience, but I struggle with always trying to control things. I grew up with a drug addicted mother, and I had two little sisters, and of course I had an older sister too, but I felt like I could fix my mom. I felt like I could change her. I always would try to suggest things, maybe apply for this job or apply for this housing or apply for these things because we grew up so poor. As well as the fact that me and my older sister took care of my little sisters for a very, very long time. So I kind of grew up with this mindset that I could fix it. If I just tried hard enough or if I just did enough, I could fix her behavior. I could fix this, I could fix that, even though it never seemed to make a difference or it never worked out the way that I wanted it to work out. And so that's kind of coming to adulthood too with my spouse, where if he's doing a behavior that I don't really like, then it's not necessarily bad, but it's just not how I would do it or whatever. There's just something that I don't necessarily like. I will find a way to try to control the situation by suggesting that he read this book or sending him a TikTok or whatever about the situation, or just trying to do little things that are kind of controlling. And I never really looked at it that way, but it's kind of controlling, kind of manipulative, trying to make him better. After I would do this, it never worked out the way that I wanted to. And I would always feel so anxious when, say, I sent him a TikTok about whatever I was feeling, or I manipulated a situation to try to get him to do something that I wanted him to do, and he didn't fall into the plan, or he didn't do it like I wanted to, or he didn't read the book, or he didn't get the knowledge from the TikTok that I wanted him to get from it. And it would just leave me so frustrated. Sometimes it would even come to the extent where I would throw a whole fit and crying and doing too much. I'm like, oh, you don't care about the relationship. But it's because I'm trying to control the situation. And the thing about control is when you try to control something that is not within your control, it just leaves you anxious and frustrated, even more frustrated than you were when you even suggested the control in the first place. So I'm reading this book about control, and I'm going to put the name up here because I can't really remember what it's called, but it is literally changing my life. Literally changing my life. And it's putting into perspective how trying to control things really is linked to anxiety. If you struggle with trying to control things like I do, I highly suggest this book. It brings it back to the Garden of Eden and Eve trying to control stuff, Adam trying to control stuff, and where that got us. It's caused so much anxiety over the course of the Bible, but over the course of just our lives. And it's so insightful. It's so helpful. Every time I read I'm listening to it on audiobook. Every time I listen to a chapter,